Hello there, world history people. Let's learn all about World War One. I'm gonna divide this unit into 9 Prezi parts, but we'll probably do a couple of the Prezi parts together in certain videos. So first of all the names for World War One. You can start off with WW1. That's probably the easiest one. It's known as the Great War. It was definitely the largest war in European history up to that point. They called it the War to End All Wars. That's kind of ironic because there, of course, was a World War II, so it clearly didn't end all wars. And it's also known as the Trench War because this war largely featured the use of trenches, which are these ditches dug by these guys right here. Here they are hanging out in a trench, and we'll talk about that probably in the second video of this series. All right, so let's check out World War One. All right, so here's some of the visuals you'd see in this war. These guys wearing gas masks. They got these big, heavy machine guns. Trenches, I already talked about those. This is some propaganda. They want people to join the military to fight in this war. And then this was sort of the global map of World War One. It was the green team versus the yellow team, and the gray team didn't really participate. So if you're looking at the map, you're like, wow, Mr. Brown, looks like the green team's going to win. And I'll tell you, the green team does win. But the yellow team puts up a real good fight, and that's for sure. So that's World War One. Okay, I'm gonna skip this, and then all right. How did the war start? Well, I'm gonna tell you about a whole bunch of events that happened in a single day in a single place. June 28th, 1914. The Prince of Austria-Hungary, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and his wife Sophie decide to go on a tour of the city of Sarajevo. And Sarajevo was sort of a occupied city by the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the Archduke wanted to sort of tour the city, wave hi to people, say what's up to the mayor, have lunch with him. But little did he know that a plot was forming against him. There were 7 assassins whose goal was to kill the Archduke, and they knew that he would be driving around the city in a convertible, and there was this big kind of parade. So the assassins hid themselves within that crowd, and the first assassin who saw the prince driving up in his car, he threw a grenade at the prince's car, but the grenade bounced off of the prince's car and blew up right in front of a car containing all the prince's bodyguards. Now, put yourself in the situation of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, okay? Somebody just threw a grenade at you. It just blew up your car full of bodyguards. You should probably get out of town. But the Archduke was unfazed, and none of his bodyguards were killed, but he was like, all right, I'm going to still go to my lunch meeting with the mayor. I'm not going to let this bother me. I hope that, the police and the military hunt down these assassin guys, but I'm going to continue about my day in Sarajevo. That was a terrible mistake by the prince. And so these 7 assassins all kind of ran in opposite directions. A couple of them were captured right away, but I'm going to tell you about the story of one of those 7 assassins that did not get captured. Okay, let's keep moving on. So there's the city of Sarajevo right there in the southeastern part of Europe. Here's the Archduke and his wife. They're getting in that convertible car. Here they are driving around. And, here's just another thing. Like, the crowd is so close to these cars. Like, that's not safe for a prince or a head of state. All right, and so let's talk about Gavrilo Princip. He was one of those assassins. He was a 19-year-old kid, so he really wasn't a very old dude. But he was a poor Serbian guy who just blamed Austria for all of his problems. He's like, man, oh gosh, I slept terrible last night. Austria! He just hated him. And he was a part of a terrorist organization called the Black Hand. And their goal was to gain independence from Austria, become an independent country. And all the other assassins ran their separate ways. But Gavrilo, he was feeling really hungry that day, so he decided to stop in a sandwich shop, and he ordered a grilled cheese sandwich, and he just was eating that grilled cheese sandwich, and he's like, man, gosh, one of my buddies tried to kill the prince. We failed. This really sucks. Probably going to be, we're probably not going to succeed in our mission. We're never going to have independence. This is the worst. All right. So, the Archduke, however, made another terrible decision. So, he was there eating lunch with the mayor, and he decided to cut his lunch short because he wanted to go to the hospital to check on his injured bodyguards. So, he, his wife, one of his other bodyguards and the driver leave that lunch early. They get back in the convertible car and they start driving around the city of Sarajevo. And this time there's no big military escort blocking the roads or anything. He's just basically driving around solo. And the driver doesn't know where the hospital is. So the driver stops the car right in front of a sandwich shop. Schiller's Deli, I have the words right there. And the bodyguard and the driver, they're like looking at this map, trying to figure out where the hospital is. The prince and his wife are just kicking it in the back part of the convertible. And sure enough, at that exact moment, Gavrilo Princip walks out, probably brushes some of the crumbs from that sandwich he just ate off of his face. And it's like, holy crap, there's the prince right there in front of me. So Gavrilo pulls out a pistol, runs up toward the back of the car, and at basically point-blank range, he assassinates both the prince and princess of Austria. So, super rude, Gavrilo, but very, I don't know if you could say it's lucky for him or just a lot of terrible choices made by the prince. I mean, both are effective. Okay, so yeah, that grilled cheese sandwich literally changed the course of history. And here's Gavrilo doing the assassination stuff, and then he's immediately captured, so he doesn't get away, and he later dies in prison. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, Mr. Brown, how does a assassination of an Austrian prince result in a world war? Well, every single major country in Europe had various alliances with each other, and they said, if somebody declares war on you, we will help you out. Okay, so let me now sort of do my best to act out all the ridiculousness that occurred within like a 1 week period in 1914. So,
we are Austria-Hungary. We are so mad at you, Serbia. You assassinated our prince. We are coming for you. We declare war.
Oh no, I'm little Serbia. I can't fight Austria-Hungary on my own. Hey, Russia, will you help?
No, this is Russia. Russia will help you. We declare war on Austria-Hungary to protect our Serbian brothers.
Oh no, Austria is now being attacked by Russia. Austria needs help. Hey, Germany.
Yeah, this is Germany.
Germany, will you help us fight against Russia?
Yeah, Germany will help you. We are so great. Screw you, Russia. We are fighting you now. Oh, yeah, Germany, yeah.
Oh, hello, Germany. This is France. We have heard you are attacking our ally Russia. France will now attack you. France declares war.
Oh no. Germany cannot handle a war with both Russia and France. Their defenses are so strong. Germany will declare war on little Belgium. That way we can go around France's defenses. Oh, little Belgium. No, not me. Little Belgium needs help.
Hey there, little Belgium. Britain will help you. All right, here we are. We are fighting you, Germany. Okay, so see, I don't know. I like doing all the voices. But, so yeah, it was just this domino effect that led to a world war. All right. So the Archduke is killed. And, all right, so here's part 2. So I'm actually going to say this. World War I was caused by the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. But even if he wasn't assassinated, the war would have happened anyway. Okay, like it was inevitable. A huge war would have come to Europe for some stupid reason. So here's the bigger reasons why a huge war was coming to the people of Europe. All right, so the first one is militarism. Every single European power during this period was building bigger and bigger guns, bigger and bigger armies, bigger and bigger ships, and they were all trash-talking each other, especially Britain and Germany. They were having this very publicized race over who could build the bigger battleship, who could build the bigger cannon, and just the Germans were talking a lot of smack about the British were talking a lot of smack about the Germans. They were eventually gonna throw down, okay? And the other thing, too, is that this is the time of imperialism, and the European powers have conquered all the land around the world. So the only lands left to conquer were ones already occupied by other Europeans. And Europeans were now used to having 50 years of these sort of easy to win wars where they were fighting against nations in Africa and Asia, and those nations didn't have advanced technologies. So Europeans falsely believed that this war against, these evil Germans would be a easy victory, and it certainly would not. All right, so this is your flag. Fight for it. Here's these big old ships they're building, and they're getting the military ready to go. Okay, so to kind of build off of that last slide, nationalism and social Darwinism now between Europeans. Okay, during the time of imperialism, Europeans said, well, we're white people, we're going to take over the world. Rah! And social Darwinism is a bunch of racist garbage. But starting in the years leading up to World War I, Europeans took social Darwinism to the next level, and they started dividing up white people into individual races. So like the French were talking crap about the Austrians, and the Austrians are talking crap about the Russians, and so they're now subdividing the different white ethnic groups and saying that some are better than others, and this is inevitably going to lead to a war. Yeah, and I've already mentioned that bit about the imperialism has reached the entire globe. Another thing I especially want to point out is that leading up to World War I, so many young men were excited to fight. They had heard these stories about glory and about empire building from their grandfathers and fathers, and they said, okay, this is going to be my chance to prove myself that I'm like a proper man, and I'm gonna go fight a quick war and come home. Neither of those things would probably happen. Okay, so your king needs you, and there they are fighting it out in imperialism. Okay, but and the little acting thing I did earlier in this video kind of shows you this final reason. And the reason why war was inevitable was because there were these entangling alliances. There were these two huge alliances that emerged in Europe that really did kind of set up the stage for there to be a big war. And the two alliances are known as the Central Powers and the Allied Powers. Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Turks. The Allied Powers, France, Britain, Russia, and later the USA and Japan also joined the Allies. So these are the two teams, and they're going to throw down in World War I. All right. And I'll talk about this in the next video. Peace out.